All right. So welcome to this section once more. If you can hear me, give a thumbs up. All right. Thank you very much. So on today's class, we're going to be talking about infographics and presentation. Infographics and presentation. Or you can just say infographic presentation and visualization. But I want to break it down into infographics separately and then presentation separately. So how many of you knows what presentation is? Do you know what presentation is? Okay. All right. So this slide you are seeing right now is a presentation. This slide you are seeing right now is a presentation. This is a PowerPoint slide. So it's just simply a document that it's used to pass down information. It can contain visuals, infographics, and so on and so forth. So today we're going to be talking about data or climate data infographics. So let me scroll down a little bit. So we're going to be translating real climate data into a clear, compelling infographics. We're going to understand the principles of effective data visualization. And then we're going to apply the Canva chart tools to real climate data. After that, we're going to build a narrative in order to tell climate stories. Someone is asking what's infographics. Can someone help us in the comments box? Can someone help us with the charts? Okay, let me just go ahead. So an infographic is just a visual tool that combines text, charts, icons, and images to present complex information or data quickly and clearly. So it's just a combination of text, charts, icons, images, or it's used to present complex data informations. So in other words, an infographic is just basically a design that's going to communicate data and information using those elements. So what we're going to be doing today is the principles of data visualization. You know when to choose the right charts. You know when to simplify the data, remove the clutter, and then you go straight to building the charts, pie charts, bar charts, or whatever. And then you're going to select the shape timeline for the layout, comparison, icon stats, or whatever. And then for the case study, we have to decode the best practice from leading climate communicators. So we're going to just use a random data to explain these charts. After that, you turn your chosen topic to a visual story. So like I said, the topic you chose on the previous sections, that's what we're going to be working on. So you're going to have to research on data on that topic and then use it to create your own charts. After that, you use the charts, place the charts on a page of the presentation, and then you add some write-ups to make someone understand the charts. So for today's class, we're going to kick off with the basics. But first of all, we'll talk about difference between climates and weather. I hope you guys know the difference between climate and weather. Okay, so for those of you that doesn't know the difference between climate and weather, I'm just trying to state out the difference to make it as simple as possible so that we can proceed to other stuff. You can research more on that. Weather simply means today's weather. That's today's rain. Let's say it's snowing or raining right now. So that's today's weather. So let's say today's rain, short-term precipitation you can observe today. That's today's weather. But if it's climate, it happens over a long period of time. So if it's raining every day for some years, that becomes the climate of this particular location. So this climate is the average rainfall over many years. Long-term precipitation patterns measured over decades. So like I said, over so many years. That's why you assume that this place, let's assume we come to this location for the first time. We don't know the climate of this location. Let's say it rains today and snows tomorrow. We have to take the information and then we wait for a long period of time in order to conclude that this particular place has this particular weather or climate. So if you are taking rain every day for so many years, it becomes the climate of that particular location. Are you guys following what I'm trying to explain? Are you guys following so far? So if it's raining every day on that particular location and it rains using that frequency for a long period of time, it becomes the climate. But that particular day is raining is the weather of that particular day, but over a long period of time becomes the climate of that particular time. That's when you can say, okay, this place is always raining instead of snowing. So that's how you know the climate of a place. Same goes with the temperature. For weather, is today's temperature. So if it's 30 degrees right now, that's today's weather. But over a long period of time, you now decide that this place is always hot or always cold, depending on the temperature. So it's calculated over a long period of time. So if you want to know the difference simply, the weather is just what's happening right now. If it's raining right now, that's called weather. But what happens over many years at that particular location is called the climate. Hope you guys understand. Hope you guys are following. All right. So we're going to start immediately by practicing the bar charts. And over here, I put up an example data for this class. We have the average temperature by continent. So this is the real average temperature of continents. So as you can see here, we have average temperature in degrees Celsius, and then we have the continent over here. So in Africa, Africa has an average temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. So that means all the countries in Africa, you calculate all their temperature and then you divide it by how many countries you have in Africa to get this particular value. South America, we have 22 degrees Celsius. Asia, we have 18. North America, we have 12. Europe, we have 10. Antarctica, we have minus 20 degrees. So this is very, very good. Europe, 10. That's why you have snow and other seasons. That's winter season and so on and so forth. North America, America is also good. That's also the reason why you have winter. Asia is a little bit good. So we can have mixed weather here. But Africa is very, very hot. Same goes with South America. So it's going to be difficult for you to see snow in Africa. But there are some countries in Africa where it snows sometimes. So we're going to be using this data on Canva to run the infographic for this particular chart. So let's get started with the pie chart. I'm going to head straight to the Canva right now. We are still going to come back to that document. All right, so on Canva, all you have to do is click on create, and then for today's class, we are selecting presentation. Like I said, we're going to select presentation. So this first one over here, that's what we're going to be clicking on. So you go ahead and click presentation to open up your whiteboard. Are you guys following so far? If you're following, give a thumbs up. I'm only seeing few reactions. Okay, so when you're talking about a presentation, the presentation is meant to have like a cover page and so on and so forth. You're meant to have cover page. You're meant to have a design itself. So you should have like a design and should have other informations. So for the cover page, let's just assume this is the cover page. So we're going to come back to this later. Let's go straight to the data. Once we're done with drawing the charts, we'll come back to design the presentation itself. So what I want you to do is you leave the first page for the cover page. We're going to work on it after these data presentations. I want you to click on this plus sign here to add another page. So we have page 1 and page 2. So over here, let's just add a write-up that says cover page. So we know what that's for. So over here, we write cover page. So we're going to come back to this cover page. We're going to come back to it. That's the page 1 is for the cover page. So we're going to head straight to page 2. So like I said, click on this plus sign to add another page. Are you following? Hope you guys are following. All right. Now let's go back to the data. So we have continents and we have average temperature. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this data one after the other and place it on Canva, and then we'll see how the chart looks. We'll see the difference between the temperatures. So this is the bar chart. You pay attention to that. Hope you guys know what bar chart is. You guys know what bar chart is, okay? So that's what I'm trying to work on. Building a bar chart on MS Word is different from building a bar chart on Canva. So Canva charts are easily created. You can just pick a template and then work on it. So let's go to the elements. Let's go to the elements and then we search for bar charts. We search for bar charts. Now it's going to ask us, once you search for the bar chart, it's going to show us this. Now we want to be selecting the charts under the chart menu. As you can see, you see charts. So we're going to click see all. So you can have the full access. Don't click on graphics or photos or videos like this one or this one or this one. You have to click on the first one that says charts. So you click see all on that, and then you're going to decide on the type of layout you want. Is that okay? So you decide on the type of layout you want. You're going to select the simple bar chart, this particular one. And once you select the bar chart, it's going to appear on the page. And over on the left-hand side, you will see the random data that they imputed for you, the random data. This is where we're going to be changing the informations. Is that okay? So this is where we're going to be changing the informations. Now, once we start changing the informations, it's going to reflect on these charts as we go on. So first of all, we're going to start with the naming. So over here, we have the team. At this down side, we have the team. While at this side, we have number of employees. That's the random figure they are giving us, team and number of employees. So we're going to change the team to continents, and then we change the number of employees to average temperature. Are you guys following? Are you following so far? All right. So like I said, once you search for bar charts, on the elements, you click on the first bar chart, the simple bar chart, and you're going to have this and then this table here. So let's get started with changing the write-up. So we have continents. I'm going to provide the PDF for this. That's the slide for this class. So when you are practicing, you use the same data I'm using. And then after that, you generate another page, you add another page on your work, and then you do for the topic you are using. So if your topic is food waste, you have to get a data on food waste and use it for this. So you have to browse on food waste, get some data, general data on food waste, and then you can use it for this. Is that okay? So we have continents here, and then we copy average temperature in degrees Celsius. So remember, you're copying the full write-up so that someone can understand what you're trying to show. So you don't just write average temperature, you write average temperature in degrees Celsius, so that if someone is trying to read the data, the person will know that it's in degrees Celsius, not in other units like Fahrenheit or whatever. So you have to pay attention to that. Make sure you make them understand that it's degrees Celsius just by adding it the way you are seeing it. Now, the first continent is Africa. Let's copy that and paste over here. So we have Africa, the first continent, and the first data from Africa is 25 degrees Celsius. So we add 25 degrees Celsius over here. Now the second one is, the guys, I'm sharing this slide. You get, so you have to check your dashboard to get the slide after the class. So pay attention to this. This is what I'm working with. So the second continent is South America. So I'm going to paste South America over here, replacing that finance. And the value for the South America is 22 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to change this to 22 degrees Celsius. So if you add the data, you just click enter. It is going to change. So once you add it, just paste it, click enter, it's going to change. The third one is Asia. So we change marketing to Asia. And then the value for Asia is 18 degrees Celsius. So we're going to do that, enter. So as you can see, the data is reflecting already. So we're going to explain the data very soon. Let's just finish up. So we have this small bar here to scroll down or up. This small bar you are seeing here, use it to scroll down or up. So if the data you are using is very, very long, over here we still have 4 right now. You can scroll down to add more. The next one we are adding is North America. So we do North America. We do North America. We copy North America from the slide, and then we replace HR with North America. Okay, sorry about that. My network disconnected. Let's continue. Can you see my screen? Hope you are seeing my screen. All right. If you're following the section so far, can you give a thumbs up? So we continue. If you're following the section so far, can you give a thumbs up? The first one is Africa. The first one is Africa. Can you hear me now? All right. So like I said, on this left-hand side, this is data table. On this right-hand side, this is customized section. So on the data table is where you fill out the informations about the charts you're trying to work on, the data itself. And if you go to the customized settings, that's where you can add the legend, edit the text, add the title of the charts, and so on and so forth. So as you can see here, this chart is just like this. So this is how it looks right now. This is how the chart looks. Now, if you want to access the table, as you can see, we don't have the table anymore. If you want to access the table, all you have to do is double click on the chart. Just double click inside the chart, and it's going to show you this once more. Is that okay? If you are following so far, give a thumbs up. Now we're going to customize this table because we just have the data and we don't want it looking like this. So let's go ahead and customize. Now, on the tests, we have tests, we have x-axis, we have y-axis, and then we have settings. So let's just work with tests for now. So click on tests. So we have this drop down. Now, depending on type of work you are actually doing, you can decide to add a legend. If you add a legend, hope you guys can spot the difference. If you add a legend, it shows this. It's going to direct the person. The person is already going to know that this is average temperature in degrees Celsius. So that information you provided on the data table is now displayed on the chart itself. So that's important. That's the importance of activating the legend so that someone can see that on the chart. So now the person is seeing the continents here, and the person is seeing the temperatures at the left-hand side. So I'm going to activate data label. So if you activate data label, it's going to show you the actual number on the bars. So you are seeing 22, you are seeing 18, But if you don't want the data to be showing on the bars, you remove it. But if you want it to be easier for someone to read it, you just activate it so that the person will know that this section, this over here will have 20 degrees and over here we have 30 degrees. So in between 20 and 30, the person already knows that this is 25 degrees. Same goes with this. This is 22, a little bit above 20 degrees, and so on and so forth. So that's why you activate the data label. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, you see the title. So we have to add the title of the charts so that someone can understand what we're working on. I don't know why someone is activating their camera. Let me go ahead and please turn off your camera. Sunday, please turn off your camera. If you can hear me, turn off your camera. Can you guys hear me? Okay. If you join back, turn off your camera. All right, let's continue. Now, we are going to add the title of this table. I'm going to simply paste the title here. The title of the table is, remember, if you're working on this and the chart starts falling off, the chart is too big, what you're going to do is you just, from the edges like this, you can reduce the size. You can reduce the size to accommodate the title. And this is not what I was trying to paste. I was trying to paste. Let me go ahead and try again. Okay. Let's add subtitles instead. Okay, so if you pay attention to this, what it's doing is actually calling the topic of the slide. So it's calling the topic of the slide instead of just calling the topic. That's the name of the chart itself. So as you can see here, we have Sismo Tutor STEM Summer Bootcamp 2026 average temperature by continent. So it's calling the program name and also this other information. So if you want to add more bars, like I said, depending on what you're working on, if you want to add more bars, you just scroll down on the data section, double click on the empty box, and then you add the additional data you want to add. Same goes to this side, just double click on the empty box. So on this subtitle, let me try and see if I can remove that additional write-up. So I can leave it as clean as possible. So after editing this subtitle, we have this average temperature by continent. Is that okay? Average temperature by continents. All right. So moving down further, we have the source. Now, this particular source is just, let's say where you got the information from or whatever. If you want to add it to the charts for the person to look up, do you understand? Let's assume you got it from Sismo. Right? Let's assume this is where you got the information. You can just add it here, Sismo Tutor's website, and it displays under the chart here. Hope you guys are seeing this. Are you seeing it? Okay, so if Sismo Tutor's website is source, that's where you got the data for this data you are using. You add it here, and then under that you have the link section. This link section is if you add Sysmo Tutors, since you're getting it from Sysmo Tutors, you add the Sysmo Tutors link here, the website link, so that if the person is viewing this document, the person can click on it to confirm the data you showed on the presentation. Is that okay? So on the link section, you have www.sysmotutors.com. And once I click enter, after adding that website, I click enter, and automatically this place is underlined. Are you guys seeing it? Sysmo Tutors website is underlined. That simply means that if I click on it, it's going to take me to Sysmo Tutors website. But if I remove the link, it's not going to be underlined. Is that okay? Are you guys paying attention to what I'm saying? So if you are trying to let the person know where you got the information from for the person to confirm, then you have to add the source, and then you add the link to the page that you got the information from. Is that okay? So that's it for formatting this particular chart. I don't think we need this much information, but if you want to add extra information, you can do that on this Y and X axis. So on this side, this left axis, I can just click on it. So I've clicked on the Y axis, and I can decide to write something like temperature, and then it appears on the Y axis. So anything I want to write on the X axis, let's assume I want to add some write-ups under this. I can do that on the X axis. So you can add whatever you want to. Let's say you want to write something. This is the average temperature for continents as published by Sysmo Tutors. Is that okay? So you can add some write-ups under this, under the chart itself, and then you can add some write-up under this section also. So the Y-axis and the X-axis, you can actually do that if you want. Hope you guys are paying attention to what I'm doing. So if you want to add extra write-up to this side or this side, you can do that. So that's how you customize the data for the bar charts. If you have any questions concerning the bar chart so far, can I get a thumbs up? If you don't have any question, okay. If you have a question, raise your hand. If you don't have any question, give a thumbs up. Okay, John doesn't have a question. Claire doesn't have a question. Okay, Richard doesn't have a question. I have over 15 people in this section, but only few are reacting. Others not participating in the class. All right. So on this particular section, we have the bar charts. So this bar chart is now ready to be used during the presentation. Now we're going to go straight to the document and do the second chart, which is the pie chart. And then once we go through the pie charts, we'll come back to Canva, and then we'll do justice to the infographics also. Now we are done with this. For the next one, we have the pie charts. So over here, we have the global distribution of rainfall, global rainfall distribution, world climate types. So this is the rainfall distribution. That's how many percent of rain falls in these locations, these regions. Is that okay? So in the tropical area, we have 40% distribution. So it always rains in the tropical area. Temperate region, we have 25 degrees. The dry region, we have 20 degrees. Continental, we have 10 degrees. And polar region, we have 5%. So as you can see, the difference between this and that is the other data is degrees Celsius, while this particular data is in percentage. Hope you guys are following so far. All right. So this is the global rainfall distribution. Tropical area 40%. So let's go back to Canva and then work on the pie charts. Now this is the pie chart, while the other one is the bar chart. So we're going to add another page. So we have the cover page, we have the bar charts page, that's for this data. We have a new page for this pie chart we're going to work on right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Same process. On the element tab, you search for pie charts. Remember, you are not selecting pie charts under graphics, photos, or 3D. You are selecting it under charts. Is that okay? So you click on see all, and then we have all these types of charts. But we're interested in the first one, which is the pie charts. So let's go ahead and click the pie charts. Same process with the bar charts. Once you click the pie charts, it appears with the default write-ups, the marketing, HR, and whatever. So we're going to edit the data table once more, just like on the bar chart. It's the same process. Now let's get started. The first one we have is Tropica, which is 40%. So we're not going to do that right now. Let's first of all change the heading and the top. So let's do that. So we have on this slide, we have climate type and share. Is that okay? So that's what we're going to be using for that heading. We have climate type and then we have share. Climate type and share. So let's get started with that. So we're going to change the theme to climate type, and then we change this side to share. So we have climate type and share. Now the first thing we're working on is Tropica. So we add Tropica here. Tropica is 40%. So we write 40%. Now before we continue, if you pay attention to the pie chart, it deals with percentage. So that's why over here we have the percentages already. We have the percentages already. But on the shares, we can decide also to add it here. You can just decide to add it in brackets over here so that someone can know that, okay, this is in percentage. But it's boldly written there and the chart itself. Is that okay? But we can decide to add it. Hope you guys are following. Okay. So it's up to you to add it or decide not to add it. It's already showing percentage here, but for clarification, we just add it here so that the person can understand easily. All right, let's continue. The next is temperate region. The share is 25%. So let's add that temperate region 25%. Now pay attention as we are changing the values, the chart is changing. We have the dry region, which is 20%. Dry region, 20%. We have the continental region, which is 10%. Continental, 10%. And then we scroll down a little bit to add the last one. The polar region is 5%. Remember to double click, not so you double click on this place. Now we have how many data here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to calculate the total percentage. Percentage has to be 100% for us to know that data is correct. If you are working on any stuff that is percentage and you don't get up to 100%, you just have to know that something is wrong with your data. So if you are working on this and then you mistakenly omitted something, you know from the percentage. So let's calculate. The first one is 40%. That's the tropical, 40%. Second one is temperate. So 40 plus 25, that's 65. Is that okay? Now the third one is dry region, which is 20. 65 plus 20 is what? Is 85. The continental is 10%, making it 95. And then the polar is 5%, making it 100% total. Is that okay? So if you're working on any data that has to do with percentage or has to do with the pie charts, make sure it's 100%. If it's not 100%, automatically that data you're using is wrong. Is that okay? That means some parts of the data is not amounted for. So you have to pay attention to that also. So make sure it's 100%. Now, pay attention to the left-hand side. There's something we didn't see on the bar charts, which is the colors. You can change the colors on the bar charts. You can do that if you wanted to by just clicking on the color and changing it over here. That if you don't want it to be blue, you can change the color or whatever you're working on. Or the color of your slide, you can make it match the color of your slide just by clicking on it and clicking on the top side right here. But when you're talking about the bar chart, pie charts is different because each data has to have its own color. It's not like the bar charts. So we have to color grade this stuff so that when someone sees, okay, yellow color, the person knows that that's for continental. Is that okay? Now, pay attention. Once I click on the chart, we have all the colors here. So the blue color is for tropical. So if we decide not to use blue color for tropical, just click on it and change it to green. So it changes for tropical. If we decide that the pink, we don't like the pink, we click on the pink, change it to blue. Continental, we leave it at yellow. This one is too close to the yellow. Orange color, so we change the orange color to, let's say, red. I think that's too shouty. Okay, let's just leave it. And then this purple, this temperate. The last one is polar. Polar is 5%. Polar is 5%. So the purple, if you don't want the purple, we can click on the purple color over here, and then we choose a color that we want. Now, if you're using white, it's going to look off like this because the background color is white. But if your background color is different, then you can use white during this time. I'm going to change this to gray just to look this way. So just click on it, and then you decide on the color that you want them to be from this place. Is that okay? If you click on the chart, you decide on the color. If you want to edit the chart itself, you double click on it, or you just click edit at this top hand side. So if you double click on it, it's going to pull up the data table. Are you guys paying attention to that? Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? All right. Now we have customization also for this. So we have data, we have customization. Now for the customization, you can decide to add the legend just like before. You can decide to add the legend. Now, once I click on the legend, is already showing the colors. That's the color guide. You know, the person that is viewing the data is not seeing these colors over here. So if you want to make it maybe easy for the person, you can just add the legend so that the person can see this at this particular place. But for the fact that this is already showing here, the continental percentage, polar percentage, adding this legend to this pie chart might be redundant. That means you're just repeating what is already here. So it's not the same as pie charts and bar charts. It's not the same. So you have to decide if you are to add the legend or not. Now the labels. Now pay attention. If the labels are on, you wouldn't need the legend. If the labels are on, you wouldn't need the legend. But if the label is off, that means you're not seeing, the person cannot tell what is this. So you have to on the legend. Is that okay? So depending on what you're trying to do, I think it's best for you to leave the labels on because the labels have the percentage and then shut the legend off. So it looks like this. For the topic, that's the title of the topic. This is rainfall, global rainfall distribution. So I'm going to add it here so that someone can understand what you're working on. So make sure you add the title of the charts. Make sure you add it. Is that okay? Make sure you add it. And then if you have a subtitle, let me show you what subtitle means. For example, if you have global rainfall distribution, and then over here we have world climate types, illustrative distribution of major climate region. So you can use this particular one as a subtitle, while this particular one is the title itself. Is that okay? So if you have something like that, you can decide to use it as a subtitle. So we have something like this at the end of that. So global rainfall distribution, world climate types, illustrative distribution of major climate regions. So you can do that if you want. Is that okay? Are you guys following? Okay. Any questions so far? Any question? If you have any question, comment on the chat before we continue to other stuff we have today. If you have any question, continue comment on the chat. I don't think this is a difficult process. All you have to do is you add the charts from the elements, you customize the data, and then you're good to go. It shouldn't be a problem for you guys. You guys are way more advanced at this point. Any questions? If you want us to proceed, give a thumbs up. If you don't have any question, give a thumbs up. Cheesy, okay. Juliet, Claire, Opeyemi, Manuela. All right. So let's continue. For those of you that are not raising your hand or giving thumbs up, I want you guys to do that. I don't know why some of you are not reacting. This is meant to be an interactive section. Is that okay? So the second page, we have this. And then the third page, we have this. Now, let's go back to the slide and know what we have next. So after the pie charts, we're going to talk about how to run a presentation slide. So we're starting from the page 1, which is the cover page. We're going to learn how to do that right now. So for the presentation slide, we have the first step, which is planning the message. So each slide should focus on the main idea. Decide what you want the audience to remember before adding anything. Is that okay? So the first slide, the first plan is to know what you're working on. That's plan your message. That's the first step. Now, the second step is adding visuals. So use charts, icons, images that directly support your points, visuals that clarify your information, not to decorate. So it's not about decoration. You're not going to be adding stars or unnecessary elements to your design. You only use what you want to use to communicate the information you're trying to pass on. For example, this slide I'm using for this section, as I've seen, everything is organized, right? How to create presentation slide. The write-ups are aligned. The steps are in a box so that it's not going to be complicated. And then we have a layout here that shows you what to do. Is that okay? So everything is organized. So that's what we're going to be working on right now, how to create this document. And then the third step here is polish the layouts. Polish the layouts. Use consistent spacing, alignments, and strong construct to make every element easy to read at a glance. So that's what we keep on saying. Make your work create your work in such a way that everything looks perfect, everything looks aligned. Then we use that spacing we learned about, how to read the spacing, the alignments, how to use the nice, not nice, the perfect font for the write-ups. And then most importantly, when someone sees a page from the presentation, the person already understands what you're trying to explain. You know the importance of a slide, a presentation slide? The importance of a slide is if you are given an assignment or a topic to work on, let's say in school or whatever, wherever you find yourself and you have a presentation you're working on. If you are presenting in front of the class or in front of the audience, and even though you are not explaining perfectly, the visuals of the presentation is already helping you. And when you look back at the screen, you have things to talk about. So you have from the data you are showing on the screen or from the visuals you have on the screen, you can easily explain certain things to the audience. Is that okay? But if your slide is messed up, they once they are looking at your slide, they're already losing hope. They're already confused. But if it's clear enough, the slide can help you keep the audience engaged. Is that okay? So that's the importance of creating a nice slide. So let's go back to Canva and then we start the process. All right. So over here we have the cover page. So what do you guys think should be on the cover page? What do you guys think should be on the cover page? I want you guys to give me what you think should be on the cover page. You guys should comment on the chat box. Comment on the chat box. What do you think should be on the cover page? Everybody should participate. Comment on the chat box. What do you think should be on the cover page? Richard said background. That's nice. Who else? Who else? Richard said background. Is it only Richard that is in this class? We have 21 people in this class. PKHQ says a climate-related background. That's okay. Richard says a sun. Who else? We have about 20 people in this section. I'm only having 2 replies. What should we add on the cover page based on what we have been working on since? What do you think should be on the cover page of a presentation? You guys even know what cover page is? Okay, Jane says weather, write-up, weather, continents, and climate change regions. That's nice. That's nice. So that's like more of like a title. So you have to have a title. On previous class, we talked about heading, headline, additional facts, and call to action button. It's similar to this. So you have to have a heading. You have to have a heading at least. And then we have some branding information. Are you guys hear me? Opeyemi says the Earth. Okay, that's great. So you guys are just giving an idea of how the visuals are going to look. Okay, so let's get started with that. So at some point, if you stop hearing me, just let me know. Is that okay? Just comment on the chats at some point if you stop hearing me. All right. So this is meant to be cover page. You know, on the presentation, we have to have like it's meant to have different pages before you even get to the data page itself. So before the person gets to that that particular page that has the drawing and stuff, you're meant to have other pages. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. You're meant to have other pages with write-ups and whatever before you get to this page and this page, because you have to explain the reason why you are showing them this. Is that okay? So you have your research, you have your findings and whatever. You use your findings after the cover page. You have your outline. That's the what you want to talk about in the full documents, and then On each page, you have the informations. And getting to this page, they can now understand what you're trying to talk about. All right, now let's get started with the cover page. Now, we talked about working with templates on the last section. You can simply use templates to achieve this. I'm going to show you how to do that towards the end of the class, but let's try and work something from the scratch so you understand how to manipulate the elements. First of all, I'm going to add a background. So I'm going to click on the element and I'll search for green background. I'll search for green background. Now I'm going to search for the green background under photos. I want to use an image for this. So I'm going to click see all on the green background. And then I will scroll down until I have something I'm interested in. All right, so I'm going to add this. I'm interested in these shapes, like this abstract you're seeing here, this geometry. So I'm interested in geometry, but I'm not a huge fan of the color. Is that okay? So I can decide to do two things. First of all, I can decide to change the color here. As you can see, it has the color here. So I can change the colors depending on the type of element I'm using. I can change the color. But if I change the color, it looks like this. So have that green, so it looks like this, which is okay. Now I'm going to change the background, the white background itself, so that it has a background color. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to select the normal usual green color I've been using, which is this lighter green. Now pay attention. I'm going to use this to cover the background. I'm going to use it to cover the whole background. And I'm going to reduce the transparency of this. Now, if I reduce transparency to 0, I'm seeing the background. If I'm increasing the transparency, that shape is appearing. So that shape is a little bit visible. So what we're going to do is we just blend it in so that we have the shape and we also have that green background behind it. Is that okay? So we have the green background behind it, and then we have the shape on top of it. Are you guys following so far? Are you following so far? All right. Now, like I said before, if you are using a dark background, the text should be light. If you are using a light background, the text should be black. So this is a dark background because it's dark green. So let me add a text and show you the reasons why I've been saying that. Now, if I say climate action, let's assume this is a headline, and I place it here. What is the first thing you notice? What is the first thing you notice? I want you guys to comment on the chat. How does this look? How does the write-up look coupled with the background? Jesus says it looked bland. Okay. Who else? You guys should comment now so that we can continue. KHQ says basic. Ogachku says really simple. Okay. Now pay attention. We don't have much information right now, so it looks empty. The cover page looks empty. The color also is off. That's the thing I'm trying to. The write-up color is off because this is black color and the background is dark, so it's dull. Everything is dull. To change that, you just have to use something lighter, let's say white, and automatically the color pops, the page color pops. Is that okay? So if you're using a dark background, it's just like for example using let me just show you something. If I use something like this, if I use light color and then I'm using light text, it's off. Is that okay? So it's the same process. So let's do this climate action, and then let's say let's bring this up a little bit, and then let me just go ahead and duplicate this and bring it down. And I'm going to change this particular one to climate data infographics. Now, remember what we talked about on the previous class. We shouldn't fight with the heading. So the headline, we shouldn't fight with it. So this has to be smaller. And pay attention to the line. I'm trying to align everything to the center of the page. So pay attention to the line. So this particular writer should be smaller than the headline itself. You have to pay attention to that. So we have climate action, and then we have climate data infographics. Okay, let's just add presentation to the back. Presentation. So we have something like this right now. Now, the next thing you're going to do is, let's say you have, let's say you're working with a company, or let's say you're running this design for your school. You have to add their logo. If it's a company you're working with, you have to add their logo. It shows that you took some time to develop it. So adding the logo is just as simple as that. So you just place the logo. Because if the design doesn't have any form of logo, if it's your school, you add their logo. If it's workplace, you add their logo. But if the design doesn't have any branding, nobody can trace the origin. That means it's more like nobody knows where where the document is meant to be. So seeing this, you already know the people that is presenting this or people that are in charge of this. Is that okay? Now I'm going to change this green color over here, something darker. I'm going to change it to something darker. The reason being that this logo here has a light green color here. So I'm going to change the background itself to something darker green. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, and then I'm going to blend it a little bit. So the first color, dark green, and then I'll do the second color. So I'm trying to get a perfect blend. If I don't get a perfect blend for the picture itself, all I have to do is to pull down this, and on the background, the background color itself, I can do that also on the background itself. So that once I'm placing this, is not going to be a problem. Is that okay? So you can do it on the background itself, and then you just blend it perfectly with this particular one. So you don't have to stress yourself with that. So you have to play around with the colors. You play around with the colors to know what is best for you. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? So this particular color you're seeing here, it can be actually darker. Okay. Now let's try a color hex code. So I'm going to change this background using a color hex code. I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to type in the color hex code. A0A 1F 0F. So this is that green color. That's the color hex code I'm using. And then I have these shapes over here. I'm going to make these shapes a little bit lighter. And after that, I will try blending it with the background. So I'm going to reduce transparency to do that. So we have something like this. Is that okay? So we have the geometry. We have, I told you guys earlier, we're interested in the shape. Those patterns on that image. Hope you can see the patterns. Hope you are seeing the patterns. All right, so that's what we're interested in. That's why you added the picture. We are not trying to leave the background to be as dark as this without any texture on it. That's why we added that particular picture. Is that okay? So if you are seeing this, you can see the pattern on the picture. That's why we added it. Leaving the background to be plain black is not going to cut out on this design. So we have climate action, we have climate data infographic presentation. So what else can we add to this homepage? What else can we add to this homepage, to this cover page? We're going to add extra write-ups. So let's get started with that. So let's assume we have a program. Let's assume this is a scholarship. Let's say climate action scholarship or whatever. What you're going to do is you add that at this section, 2026 climate action scholarship pitch. And then you reduce this a little bit. This is about 20 fonts. So we have something like this. Now pay attention. I'm going to align this because this text is on the right side of the screen. I'm going to align it from this here, this section to the right hand side. So this is left align, justification, and then right align. I'm going to align it to the right so that all the text pushes to the right hand side. The reason I'm trying to do that is because I want to align it perfectly with this logo so that I will see that line at this section. That's why I'm trying to do it. So once I do that, once I align to the right, I can then place the logo and then I see that line. Hope you guys are seeing the line, the guideline. Are you seeing the guideline? Can you see the guideline? All right. So if the text is on the right hand side, align to the right and then align with the logo. If the logo is on the left hand side, then you align the text to the left and then align with the logo. It's as simple as that. So that once someone looks at this, automatically the person is seeing that everything is organized. So the write-up or the text is organized. Now what we're going to do is someone said something about adding Earth to this, just to give context to the audience about what you're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and search for Earth. Remember, like I said, it depends on your topic. All the designs you're working on depends on the topic you chose during that first class. So if you're working on food waste, you have to look for a picture to use. Now, let me show you an example. If I add a frame, I'm just trying to explain this because of other topics. So if I have a circle frame and my topic is food waste, look at what I can do. So I can decide to do this. Place this circle inside the wall, like as you can see, the full circle. I'm placing it inside like this. I'm going to shift this a little bit, or I can decide to align it with other text. So since I'm using an image to explain the topic, I can decide to do that. Place this inside, and then I'll search for food waste, if that's the topic. And then I'll look for food waste in the picture section, select it, select the desired picture, and then once I reduce the cropping a little bit, I place it inside the circle. So by doing so, if someone is seeing this cover page, the person already knows what you're talking about. Is that okay? So the person knows that the presentation is about food waste. That's food waste. Hope you guys are paying attention. Are you guys paying attention? Okay. So you can also add it like this, so that once someone sees it, the person knows that this is food waste presentation. You can do this as the cover page. But for this particular design, which is climate action, we're going to use Earth to do that because that's the topic. So you have to customize your own depending on your topic. So I'm going to look for a nice picture of the Earth. Okay, I think this looks more real. So I'm going to, okay. I don't know the one that looks more real. I think this one looks, let me just use this one. Now I place the Earth inside the frame, and then I'm going to zoom the Earth like this. Remember, it doesn't really matter the way you place it, but you have to make sure that nothing is touching, no element is touching each other. Is that okay? Nothing is touching each other. So the Earth is not touching the write-ups. That's the most important thing at this point. So by doing this, we have the logo of the company you're working with or the school you are presenting to, the topic, which is the headline, additional information about the topic, that's what you want to present. And then let's assume this is a scholarship program. You write it over here. Climate action, so that the person knows they're talking about the Earth's weather and climate. And we're done with the cover page. Is that okay? Is that easy to understand? Are you guys following? Are you guys following? I'm only getting, we have 18 students here. So this is how you run the cover page. So you can decide on anything you want to do, but keep it clean. Like I said, keep it clean. The person is meant to understand within a few seconds. But if you pay attention, the tests are perfectly visible. The background is dark, so the tests are lighter. That's the most important thing. So once you pay attention to the rules, you follow the rules, you wouldn't have a problem. If I remove this background, it becomes dull. If I remove that background image, it becomes dull because the background itself is dark gray. But with that, you blend it perfectly. Is that okay? Now, since we are done with the cover page, the next thing we can work on is the first page of the slide. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, to do that, you can decide to create a new page by just clicking on plus sign. There's a plus sign in between those two pages, page 1 and page 2. There's a small plus sign. Just put your cursor in between the two pages, and then you see a plus sign. Or you click on this big plus sign, this one here, to create a new page, and then you drag that new page to the second place. So you can move around these pages. Is that okay? So that's another method to do that. So I have page 1, which is the cover page. Page 2 is a blank page. So I can decide to copy this whole information here. If the design I'm using, if I want to use the same designs throughout the page, I can do Ctrl A to copy all, Ctrl C, and then I paste it. Now, if I paste it, you pay attention, the background is white. So if I paste it here, it's looking different. But if I move down the image and change the background color to that dark green, that same dark green we are using, automatically it becomes the same page. So we have page 1, which is the cover page, and then page 2, which is another cover page. So we are going to work on the page 2. So to do that, all we have to do is remove the stuff we don't want for the page 2. Now for this particular write-up, which is a scholarship write-up, I'm going to align to the right-hand side, and then I'm going to push it to this downside. I don't want it to be bordering on my text. I'm going to be adding tests here. Same goes to the logo. I want to push it to this side so that all the write-ups I'm placing will be flowing from here to here. Now, for the first heading, which is climate action, what I want to do is, no, if this page, you can decide to do your outline, that's to show what is on the other pages. For example, you can do something like this, outline, and then place it. Make sure you align everything perfectly. Now, the first topic here is, let's say, what is climate data, infographics, and presentation? That is the first thing we're going to talk about in the next page. That's page 3. You know, we're in page 2 right now, which is the outline page. After that, we talk about what is the difference, or what are the differences. Let me just say, what is the difference between weather and climate? Now, if you are typing, it's not a problem. Once you are done typing, you place it, and then you have, let me just write the difference so it doesn't sound what is, you get. So you have the difference between weather and climate. So this is page 1, this is page 2. Is that okay? And then, because we are running out of time already, we are going to do for the 2 pages that we created before, which is the information here and then here, which is page 3 and page 4. So this first one is average. I'm going to just copy that. Average temperature by continent. So I'm going to write it here. Remember to align properly. Now, if you're working on this, you pay attention to the spacing also. You have to pay attention to the spacing. So we have outline here. We have the first page, second page. Let's check for the spacing in between them. So we have 28, 28 spacing. As you can see, that number over there is the spacing. We have 28, 28 spacing. Now, average temperature by continent, we place it, and then we'll make sure it's the same spacing, 28, 28, 28. Hope you guys are seeing these numbers. Are you seeing these numbers? All right, so that's the spacing. You pay attention to it. 28, 28, 28. So that's for that. And mind you, when you're working on something like this, make sure this and this is not touching the edge. Make sure it's not like this. Make sure nothing is touching the borders. That's the page border. Make sure everything is nothing is touching anywhere. Is that okay? So the last information is the spacing also. Pay attention to the spacing, 28, 28, 28, 28. So we have equal spacing. The last one is global rainfall distribution. Let me just grab the topic and then I place it. So we have this, and this. The average, okay. I'm going to, I think there's a space here. Yeah, there's a space there. So you have to cross-check the work. Make sure the spacing are the same, 28, 28. Any spacing you are using, make sure it's the same. And then you make sure everything is aligned. As you can see, all the tests are aligned properly. Now the next thing you're going to do is, once you're done with that, you can select this, highlight this, and then you decide on the fonts to use and then the size also. Is that okay? Decide on the fonts to use and the size also. So that's what you do. Once you are done with that, you arrange your work, and then you are good to go for the next page. So we have these 4 pages. You can decide to add numbers to it also. That's if you're trying to break down the pages by numbering. So you can do this. If you highlight these outlines, at this top side, we have the list. There's a list here. You can click on it to add bullet points to that. So to make it look like this, so that someone can understand that pages by pages. Now, once you're done with that, so that means the next page, the outline is not officially a page. So it's just like table of contents. And then the third page is starting from this place. What is climate data, infographics, and presentation? So let me go ahead and copy this full page again, copy, and then I'm going to add a new page, and then I'm going to paste it. So we have the cover page, we have the outline page. Now for this page, what we're working on is this. So I'm going to remove this outline, remove this, and remove this. And once I place this, I'm going to remove the bullet points also. So I have only this, and then I'm going to increase the size because that's the topic we're working on. And under that, we have add a text. Remember, it's not fighting with headline, so text is going to be a little bit smaller. And then we'll go ahead to research on this. So you can grab some write-ups and paste under that. Now, once I grab the write-up, I'm going to paste it here. Now, pay attention. If you haven't noticed throughout this section, I'm not trying to work on the fonts. I'm not trying to do much on the font. I'm just trying to show you how to run your presentation. But from the first page, as you can see, this is bold and this is bold. You can decide to remove the bold for the second one to make it look more. All right. Same goes with this. Is that okay? So you don't just bold all the write-ups. I didn't just pay attention to that because I'm trying to cover what we have for today. So for the fonts, this is going to be bold. The headline is going to be bold. The write-up under is not going to be bold. There's no reason to do that. Once you add bold to this, everything is now looking shout. Everything is now an information. You have to make them to pay attention to what you want them to. So that means you want them to pay attention to this at the first time. So once they read this, they can now read the additional information. Same goes to this page. You can just remove the bold for this and just leave only bold for the outline. And then this also, remove the bold for this. So it is now looking perfect right now. It's getting into shape. Now for the first page, which is what is climate data, infographics, and presentation. Now on the outline, we said what is climate data, infographics, and presentation. So on this page, you don't need to repeat that question. You can just write climate data and infographics. And then you remove the bold on this. It's not needed. After that, you align properly. You can decide to align center. You can decide to make the write-ups stand on the center of the page. It depends on what you prefer. But if you have much write-ups going on one page, you can just push it to the left-hand side. Let's say you have climate data here, and then you have another subheading here. You can just push it to the side. But if not, since you are just defining those things, you can just decide to place it here. Now, looking at this text, this is Canva Sans, that's the font. And the font size is 28.1. Now, pay attention. On the page, this is 35.3. This big one is 84.9. So you have to pay attention to these numbers. That's the font. This is bigger. This is a little bit smaller than this, 35. But on this other page, we have 28.1 and we have 42.3. So now pay attention. This outline, we are done with the outline page. And then from this page onward, we are going to pay attention to this number, 42.3 and 28.1. If you don't want to do that, if the numbers are hard for you to capture, you can change it to the nearest number. This is 45. Why this is, let's say, 30. Okay. So 45 and 30. That's what we are using for the definitions. Is that okay? Now I'm going to remove the bold on this once more. As you can see, this is looking nice right now. We are done with this first headline, which is what is climate data infographics and presentation. Now the second one I'm working on is difference between weather and climate. Now let's go straight to that. Once I'm done with this, I copy the whole text on this and then I create a new page. Now I paste everything here, go back to the outline, pick the topic I'm trying to work on, and then I paste it here. Now this says the difference between weather and climate. So I can decide for this particular page to write this over here. Instead of copying this particular section, which is centered, I can change the alignment for a new page. And then let me quickly grab some write-ups. I'm going to grab some write-ups so I can paste it. And then we go from there. So quickly, let me grab something. I'm going to paste the difference between this is a more like a short definition. Align to the left because this is pushing to the left, and then I place it over here. Now, if you pay attention to what we have been working so far, the document is looking a little bit live, not lively, because we have a diagram here. We don't have a diagram for the outline. This page is centered. Now, from this page, we can decide to start adding visuals to it so that someone can comprehend. I know this topic is going to be difficult for you to get visuals in. Getting visuals for this topic is going to be difficult, but we can still go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this right up to the center of the page just by closing it down here. So I will have space on this side. Is that okay? So for this space I have here, I can just go ahead and grab an image. I can just go ahead and grab an image just to make it a little bit fun for the people, the audience. So we're not going to be keeping the presentation to look. We're not going to make it look dull. So we have to make it look presentable. If it gets too boring, you lose the audience. Is that okay? So if it gets too boring, if you guys are following so far, give a thumbs up. Are you guys following so far? Okay. So on Google, I'm just teaching you guys how to create the presentation. So on Google, you can just search the topic. This is difference between weather and climate. Now, for the difference between weather and climate, I can scroll down under picture, under images, and then I'll look for something that looks nice. Remember, you could search for that on Canva. You could search for weather on Canva. That's if you don't want to use Google, you can actually do that. But if you don't have enough pictures yet that you like, you can go to Google and get that. So let's just do it on Canva. So I'm going to grab this or this. You can decide to add this to your slide just to make them engaged. Your audience, you have to keep them engaged. Now pay attention to what I'm trying to do. I'm going to align this image to this logo and this right up here. Is that okay? So once I'm placing it to this side to align it with the logo and this right up. The same way I'm aligning it with this right up. So if I'm moving it around, I have to see the line, the vertical lines and the horizontal lines. So I'm aligning it with the right up. I'm also aligning it with the logo and that right up at the end of the screen. So we have the first line here, and then we have the second line here. If you understand what I'm saying, give a thumbs. If you are seeing the particular line, the guidelines, give a thumbs up also. All right. So you align with all the elements on the page to keep it organized. Now, this particular write-up you are seeing here stopped at the center of the page. That's why you are seeing this line. So I have to bring this closer to it to almost stop at the center of the page also. Something like this. And then since we have enough space here, I can pull this down just to show some information to my audience to keep them engaged. Is that okay? Are you guys following? So you don't have to keep your presentation boring. You can add images, but when doing that, align properly and don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. I wanted to say something else. We have a cover page. Outline page is dark green. Definition page, dark green. This also is dark green. This is white. This is white. Since these two are data presentations, we don't want it to be dark. We want them to have a clear understanding of what's happening here. So we want it to be clean. That's why we're using a lighter background. Since we have light backgrounds here, we can decide to change. So pushing from the cover page, going to the outline, we can decide to make the outline also light colors. Is that okay? So that once they get to this page, they'll be like, okay, you're mixing two colors, white and dark green for the pages throughout the presentation. So you're not meant to use one color for all the pages. You can mix two colors. So the lighter parts and the darker parts. So once you get to this data parts, since the background is light, they will pay attention. They will be more attentive because the background is a little bit lighter. But for this particular place that is dark colors, you can use images to keep them attentive. Is that okay? So you can decide to change the color for this. To do that, just select the write-ups. Select the write-ups. Now you're going to do the opposite. You're going to change the color of the write-up to dark green. And then you're going to change the color of the background to white. If that doesn't turn out well, just like this one, you go ahead to delete the color of the background. That's the background picture. And then you change the main color of the background to white. So when you do that, it looks like this. Is that okay? So when you do that, it looks like this. If you pay attention, the logo here is not visible enough because the write-up on the logo is white. So we have this light page, and this light page. Now for the logo, if you have a logo that is white and your background is white, it's fighting with the background, what you can do is click on the logo and try to change the color of the logo to something dark. If you do that and it doesn't work, you can go straight to editing. Is that okay? So you click on edit to edit the logo. Now, once you click on edit and you scroll down, you have filters over here. You have filters. Click on see all and then try out some filters. Remember, you are trying to just make the write-up to show. It's not compulsory to do that, but we are just trying to do that just to see how to edit write-ups. Is that okay? So if you have a logo that the color is not visible, you can go to the filters, you can click on edit, go to the filters, and then edit properly. Is that okay? So once I add this filter, I'm seeing this, it's going to appear the way you're seeing it here on the preview. So if you show you dark red on the filter preview, it's going to be dark red. Any color you are seeing like this is how it's going to look. So I can decide to just click on this green one. And now you have the green highlights, and then we have the shadow. I don't need the shadow. I'm going to go ahead and remove the shadow, make the shadow white. So I need only the green color. Since the background color is white, I don't need blue shadow for this. I need white shadow so that it blends with the background. So by doing so, you have something like this. Are you guys paying attention? Are you guys following so far? All right. So like I said, if you have a white logo that is fighting with the background, click on edit, go to filter, scroll down to filters. On this filter, click on see all to access all the filters. Then you choose the one you want, and then you customize the shadow. You know, the shadow is the color behind that group. So if I make the shadow to be red, it's not visible, but it's going to hinder the if you are looking, it's getting a little bit sharp, too sharp. But if I remove the shadow, it looks better. Is that okay? So pay attention to that. Remove the shadow, and then you are good to go. So right now we have the cover page, course outline page, or presentation outline page. Now the first page itself, definition of this, everything is centered. Second page that states the difference between weather and climate. And then we have the picture that just shows the difference so that our audience can be engaged. After that, the next thing on the menu is the average temperature by continent, which is data we have. And after that, we have global rainfall distribution, which is this. Now, pay attention. We have this, and this is inside a box. As you can see, it's inside a box. We can decide to click on this, or click on this. Is that okay? So we can decide to add colors to the box. You see, we can add colors to the box. Like I said, depends on what you're working on. You can decide also to change the roundness of the corners of the box. So if I click on this, the roundness, I can curve the edges of these shapes. That's the bars itself. So I can decide to curve it to make it look a little bit different from others. I could also decide to run some spacing here. So it's up to me to do what I want with this. Are you guys paying attention? Hope you guys understanding. All right. Now, since we have this data here, I could just reduce the size of the data and place it at the right-hand side, and then I add some write-ups here. So to do that, let me just grab some write-up. I'm going to grab this, go back to here, paste it. Since the color is white, I'm going to change it to dark green. Now, I'm going to place it above the data. I don't want it to fight with the data, so I'm going to place it above the data. And then, because this is the heading, I'm going to go to Google and copy some write-ups about the heading. Is that okay? I think I got, okay, this is different between, okay, I got the wrong write-up. So let me grab the correct one. The average temperature by continent. Is that okay? So I'm going to grab some additional fact about that. Head straight to Canva, go to that page. Now pay attention. I'm going to paste it here, paste it like this, and I'm going to cross-check if it matches this size of text. This is 30 font size, Canva size. I'm going to go to that page, click on it, change this to starting, and then make sure it's canvas sans. Like I said, starting from the first page, starting from this page, we are maintaining this and this 45 and 30. Second page, 45 and 30. Third page, 45 and 30. Now I'm going to align to the left hand side. You guys should pay attention to the fonts and the alignments. Is that okay? If you don't do that, automatically you have a big problem. And maybe you feel like someone is not paying attention to the sizes of the text. They are actually paying attention to the size of the text. If you change from this page to this page, and for example, let me show you something. For example, if this page is like this, for example, someone moves from this page and jumps to this page and sees this, the person is already going to know that you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Your work is not organized. So you're not jumping from, like I said, this is cover page. This is an exception. Outline page, you can do whatever you want here. But once you start running the work itself, you have to pay attention to the details. So jumping from this page to this page, and then you see this, the person is not going to be happy with the presentation. Is that okay? So you have to pay attention to that. Are you guys following so far? All right. So once you are done with formatting the text, this is 30 fonts, canvas sans. Make sure it's aligned with the topic properly. Make sure you see that line. Make sure you see those lines. And if you pay attention, you see that data is also aligned with the write-up. You are seeing that line on top. Everything is perfect. Make sure everything is perfect. Is that okay? Same goes to this last page. You can push it, or since this one is to the right-hand side, you can push this particular one to this side. You have to make the page versatile. So you have to accommodate as many patterns as possible. Don't make the slides to be boring. Don't make the slides to be boring. So each slide can depict a different type of setting. Some can be centered, some will have images, and the ones that have data, you have to balance it up. But make sure you pay attention to the details of this stuff you're doing, and make sure the pages are not identical. Is that okay? Make sure everything is kind of balanced. So right now we don't have any identical page because this is different. This has a different element standing out. This is different. This is a plain outline. This is centered and simple. This has an image, also simple, aligned to the left. This is the data table, aligned to the left. The only thing you're adding to this page right now, if you want to maintain consistency, is just to add this logo to this. Same process, the logo is white. Click on Edit, and then you go to Filter to add the green filter. And once I add the green filter, I remove the shadow. Is that okay? All right. So do that for this. And then you copy this one because that's green, and then we paste it on this place. And then since we're running out of time, what we're going to do is, if you're running your own, you can decide to finish up this page. To finish up the page simply means adding some write-up here about global rainfall distribution. Let me just go ahead and grab something very fast. So since we have the heading here, global rainfall distribution, I don't need to write a heading anymore. I'm just going to grab the write-up about that. Global rainfall distribution. And then after that, we're going to add a cover page. The cover page is not from, what's it called? The last page of the document. So we change this to 30. Remember, all the fonts I'm using is Canvas Sans. You can use other fonts. So this is 30. Pay attention to, after arranging your work, pay attention to this number. Is that okay? Pay attention to this number. Since we don't want this to fight with this, we can decide to center this. And pay attention to the alignment. Like I said, you can align with this logo at this right side. You pay attention to that, or you can align justified. This is justified. Everything is balanced. You can align depending on what you want to do actually. But the most important thing is that it's aligned with the other elements on the page. Now you can place this here, align it with the top of this chart, or you align with the center of the page, just like this. So that's it for all the pages. The last page here is just like the cover page. Let's say you copy this from the cover page, you paste it, and then I'm going to push down this to change the background to dark green. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove these heads. We're going to bring this topic up a little bit. And then we're going to add something else. Okay, what we're going to do, push this to the right hand side. And then duplicate this particular one. And then you can say, maybe thank you for your time, or whatever you want to write there. If you feel like this is fighting with this, thank you for your time, you can reduce a little bit more. This is the last page. Okay. Thank you for listening. Okay, that's great. Thank you for listening. All right. So that's basic. That's the most you need to do for the last page. So we have the cover page. We have the outline for the presentation. The first page is climate data, the infographics. That's the meaning. Second page, we have differences between weather and climate. And then we have differences. We have differences between weather and climate. Oh, okay. You guys are not paying attention. This should be average temperature by continents. I pasted this heading 2 times, so you have to cross-check your work. Average temperature by continents. Make sure you cross-check your work after everything, so you don't make mistakes like this when presenting. So we have outline, climate data infographics, difference between weather and climate, average temperature by continents, and then global rainfall distribution. Now, if you want to add this heading for this page, what you have to do is just add the heading, global rainfall distribution. And then for this particular place, what you have to do is double click on this and remove this particular one, leaving only the subtitle. Is that okay? So you don't write it 2 times. So you can add the heading. While doing that, you can just place it properly so that it matches the same pattern as this one. After that, you just do the ending page. Thank you for listening. Is that okay? Now, once you are done with the whole work, you start from the page 1 to review your work one page after the other. Cross-check on the font sizes. Cross-check the font sizes and the font type. Check if some elements are bold, while some are not. Anything you are doing on the other page, make sure you are doing it on the other page so that everything stays the same. If you guys follow through this process, kindly give a thumbs up. Kindly give a thumbs up. Okay. You can decide also to move this down a little bit to the center of the page. This also is okay, just like this one. You can decide to center, leave the topic hanging, and then bring down the write-up itself. Because if you raise it to this place, maybe you have spaces here, you have more space here. I just did it like this with the assumption that you're adding more text. So if you're adding more text here, you can leave it at the top side. Or if you're not adding a lot of text, you can bring it down. Hope you guys are following. All right. Now, for us to conclude our work, we have to present to see how it looks. Is that okay? Present. So to present, you click on the present button at the top right side to see the full screen view of the design. Is that okay? So you cross-check again by presenting. So this is the first page. This is the second page. Now you pay attention to the edges. Make sure nothing is touching the edges of the screen. This is the third page, the fourth page, the fifth page, and then the sixth page. So you cross-check, and then use your escape key on your keyboard to leave. Did you guys see the presentation? Did you guys see the presentation? Okay, I think it's fun. Just click on the presentation at this top right side to present. It's not a problem. So to view it on full screen, you have to present it. You have to present it. Hope you are seeing my screen. Hope you are seeing my screen now. All right, so you just present it from that top side, present it. Now, once you are done with the cross-checking and everything, you click EKH, I think is from your device. So don't worry about it. Once you're done with your work, click on present. It's just to show it on full screen preview. Is that okay? So to export, click on share. The share is at the top right side, just like downloading the images you present. So click on the share button, and then you scroll down. You see download at this side. You see download. You click on the download. Now, the most important thing about this download is that you can choose any format you want. You can download them as pictures, independent pictures. But since it's a presentation, you have to download as a PDF or PowerPoint document. Now, downloading as a PowerPoint document, you can do that because if you are presenting in a school, your school is not going to allow you to maybe log in on other softwares. Maybe you guys have to copy the document in a flash drive and plug it into one device to present it. So if your school is using PowerPoint, then you have to export as PowerPoint document, this particular one. Or if you are using separately or for other types of presentations, you can do PDF. Or you can just download it too. Like I said, if your school is using PowerPoint software, that's Microsoft PowerPoint for the presentation, then you have to select PowerPoint, PPTX, PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint document. You download it as PowerPoint. So when you copy it into the flash drive, they can present it from the PowerPoint app. Is that okay? From the PowerPoint software. So you have to pay attention to that. You have to find out what they're using. If it's PowerPoint, you download with PowerPoint. If it's PDF, you download PDF. If you want to export it as as a video or as a picture, you have JPG, PNG. That's to export all the pages independently. But if you want to convert this to a video, pay attention to this. Remember, you're exporting as PowerPoint presentation or PDF. But if you want to convert as a video, maybe if you want to post it on social media as a video, what you're going to do is you click on this first page, click on the first page. You see this timer here? This is 5 seconds. So you're going to change the timer for each pages. So if you know that this first page is going to take you 5 seconds to read this whole page, you leave it at 5 seconds. For the second page, also 5 seconds. If you feel like you can read this within 5 seconds, an average person can read it within 5 seconds, you leave it at 5 seconds. If you feel like it's too small, click on it and change the time. You can adjust the time to 8 seconds, 10 seconds, or whatever, 30 seconds. Is that okay? So if you feel like you have much text, if you feel like it's going to take someone a long period of time to read the one page, and you want to convert to a video, you have to change the timer for all the pages. For the pages that have information like this, change the timer to a longer period. Is that okay? Maybe 6, 7 seconds. You have to read it and then you time yourself to know the time that is perfect for someone to read this. Same goes to all the pages. Now, once you change all the timers for all the pages, you can then click share, click download, and export. This file type, you click on it, export as a video, MP4 video file. So if you are posting it on social media, it's going to take those seconds for it to move from one page to another. Hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Hope you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Okay. So that's if you want to export as video, you have to click on each page, change the timer, depending on the time it's going to take the person to finish up reading. And that's that. Now, if you want to add transition in between the pages, from page 1 to page 2, there's no transition. If I present, let me show you. There's no transition. Page 1 to page 2, no transition. It's just moving from page 1 to page 2. But if you want to transit, if you want to animate, in between the two pages, you see add transition. There's a small button there, add transition. You click on it, and then they're going to ask you what transition you want to use. So you can use dissolve, you can use slide, circle wipe, color wipe, line wipe, match and move, flow, stack, and chop. So it depends on what you're trying to do. But I think flow works for me. Now, if I add flow, if I click on flow, I can scroll down and click apply between all pages. That means it's going to apply that same animation to all the pages. And there you have the various transitions. Now, if I present once more, it's going to look more interesting when I'm presenting. So it's nice to add transitions in between. Now, if I click next, hope you guys are seeing this. So the pages are not static anymore. The pages transit from one page to another to make it look more lively. So depending on what you're working on, you can add transitions to your page before exporting it. Is that okay? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Okay, so I'm going to be asking questions right now. I'm going to be asking questions since you guys don't have questions. Let me go ahead and pull up something so I can ask questions. All right. Now, if I call your name, you have to unmute your mic and then you just say something. So, yes, Jane, you can add more slides. It depends on what you're working on. If you want to run infinite slide, that's your. No, if you're working on something, you know the informations to use. You know the important informations you can add to your documents. So first of all, I'm going to call on Salome. I'm going to call on Salome. If you can hear me, give a thumbs up so I can ask a question. Give a thumbs up. Kindly unmute your mic, Salome. Go ahead and unmute your mic so I ask you a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you guys hear him?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Salome, go ahead and unmute your mic. So I'm going to ask you this question. Why is it important that you maintain the same font size and font type?
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat the question?
I can't hear you. I don't think they can hear you either. Can anyone hear him? Okay, continue. They can hear you. Continue. So why is it that it's important? Or that I can't hear you, but continue what you're saying. Go ahead and continue. Why is it that it's important for you to maintain the same font size and font type? Can you guys hear him? I don't think they can hear you. Okay, let me call on someone else to answer that question. Amanda, can you help us with that question?
Yeah. It's important to keep the text size the same because then it looks consistent like throughout the slides. And when you go from one slide to another, it looks like the same, like isn't like, you know.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Who else can add to that? Anybody else? Who else can add to that? Jane, can you help us? Okay, Ikechukwu says me. Okay, Ikechukwu, go ahead.
It's important to keep a consistent font and text size because if you don't and it's a bunch of other ones, then it's messy and it loses the impact of what it's meant to be saying and showing.
All right, thank you very much. I can't hear the. I think my network is acting up. Mr. Lota, can you help us with some insights on what they can work on? Okay, Salome, go ahead.
It's important to consist font size to create a clear vision to people who are like seeing your slides so they can have like a clear vision of what you're presenting.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, so like she said, it's important to do that so that you can have a clear visual of what you're working on. And also, most importantly, to keep your work organized and aligned. So the stuff you're doing on the other page, you have to refer to it on another page to keep the work in order and organized. And Mr. Lota, are you active? Can you speak to them a little bit?
Wow.
All right.
So happy to hear Salome's voice today. I think we need to clap for her even better. We should clap for her. What do you think? Yeah, it feels good to hear. This is the third week, I'll be second week, and we're hearing her voice today. I think that's quite beautiful. Thank you so much, Tyler. I even I enjoyed the session. Yeah. Who enjoyed the session alongside me? Yeah, I did. I enjoyed the session. So now I think we can now think about something since we learned from the very first meeting till now. Just think about one key thing you can actually talk about. We've learned things from the foundation tracks, a lot of things you learned from the green track, from the mathematics track. Just think about anything you want to, you can work on to present. While this will help you during our final project. This is the kind of thing you'll be putting together for your final project based on the product we talked about. We've not forgotten that product you should be designing, because at the end of the day, your website, the designs and presentation, all of them will be based on whatever thing, products your company or whatever thing your company solves. You'll be doing that towards the end of the STEM experience. But for this one, just to get your hands dirty, think about a concept you want to work on, something you want to present. Who has an idea of one thing? I think for me, I think I would like to do something on will be basically for me will be on biomass. I would just like to do something along that area. Maybe explain to somebody how I can get cooking gas from animal waste. I could just present a slide on that, trying to educate people on that. So I don't know what you want to work on. I don't know if I should call names. People and let me know what you want to work on or present maybe towards the next session. Just have a wonderful slide. Look at how beautiful Mr. Hilary's phone is. Remember that the first day, I think that was the second day of our session, I saw a lot of slides. Some slides, the text we are bigger than the background, right? So but now you've seen how to arrange everything, and I think your work will be better now, two of us. Your presentation slides now is going to be better. I think I saw that of Claire then, I saw that of Cheesy. Claire wrote a lot of things, but then the background and a lot, but I think there is more that can be done now. So protect the ocean, work on anything that is linked to whatever thing we've taught so far. But I think we're going to pick the best. I can pick like 3, Mr. Hillary, so that we can just share on social media the best presentation based on climate change, climate action, renewable energy, clean energy, and the rest of them. I hope we are clear. Any question on that particular project? Any question? All clear, right? Give me a thumbs up if it's clear. You understood what I said? 100%. Yeah, Ikechiku. Yeah, Cheesy. Jane, Kamsi, Claire. So good. So let's see a better presentation slide now. Something very beautiful like what Mr. Hilary has shown you. Thank you so much, everyone. And I think I've missed you guys so much. Yeah, I have. And all the best. Remember your sessions tomorrow. Mr. Hilary, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Lota, for that insights. Okay, Nicholas, go ahead and unmute your mic and then answer a question. I'm going to ask you a different question. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Okay. Maintaining
Okay.
size.
So question goes like this. Let me ask a question from this. Why is the write-up, that's the body of the text, placed at the center of the page instead of on top of the page? Why is that write-up that write-up at the center of the page instead of at the top of the page?
Wait, can you please repeat what you said? Can you please repeat what you said?
I think Mr. Hilary's internet is off or something. Who can ask that question again? Who can assist? Mr. Hilary then? Yeah, just 3 minutes. We'll be back again. Meanwhile, I think I was typing something on the chat. I need someone that can that his own presentation will be on how the solar panel generates electricity. Yeah, just explain, use images to explain it. Anybody taking up that challenge for me? Just one person. Just explain how the solar panel works. Use very amazing colors and designs, and use images that will illustrate it step by step. Anybody? Do I have anyone that wants to do that? You can comment on the chat. Anybody? I think I will need a boy and a girl. Or nobody wants to do that. Is it difficult? Okay, Bamise said me. Okay, great. I have Bamise now. All right. Any second person that wants to join in? Me. Okay, so I have Jane and Bamise. I think those in Canada wants to work on that project. So it's now it's a good one. So over to you guys. I want to see tomorrow. Yeah, just a very powerful slide bringing up the processes. All right, so I think we'll call it a day here. Mr. Hillary, I think he's having a tough time. So for Nicholas, okay, let me ask you the question, Nicholas. Are you there?
Yes.
All right, so Nicholas, my own question will not be on the font size. My question will be, how did you people actually put if I want to take this particular heading, the difference between weather and climate, I want to move it to another slide. How do I go about it?
Wait, say it again.
Okay, now I said you have a particular subject. Now, the heading of this slide I'm looking at now, we're looking at the particular heading of the slide,
Yes.
the difference between weather and climate. And then I created a new slide that is blank, and I want to have the same heading on that particular slide. What do I do? What exactly? Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is confusing. Can you please repeat again?
Okay. Should another person ask the question? Maybe I'm not speaking the way you do. Is that a challenge?
I think so.
Okay. Ike, are you there? Okay, are you there? Good. Your mic is on, right? Yeah, please go ahead and ask the question. Maybe speak with so that you just speak that way, so that I think he can't understand my own English. Don't worry. I'll go for a phonetics class. You guys are laughing, right? Don't worry. So Ike, please, can you you can paraphrase the question so he gets to understand. So it won't be a communication problem.
The question was, if you wanted to move a title that you put on another slide to the one that you're on, how would you do it?
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking. I'm coming. Let me think.
Okay, I think. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So are you sure it wasn't? Okay, let me not go there. Okay, that's fine. So that means it wasn't a communication problem earlier, basically. So any person I have people that can answer that on the call, right? Anybody that wants to answer that question? Yeah, Jen, go ahead, please. Your mic is on, right, Jen?
You can go back to the slide and copy the title and then go back to the blank slide and just paste it there.
Great job. Is she correct? Oh, that's on the call. Is she correct?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, Nicholas, you're not saying yes. That's beautiful. All right, guys. Mr. Ila, are you here now, please? I don't know if you have another thing for them or you guys are done for the day.
I can hear you guys, but you guys can't hear me. Okay. I can't hear you guys actually, but I think we are done for today's section. This is 20 minutes past the time. So I'm going to post this video and then the slide so that you guys can work on the data table. Make sure you finish this data table. It's very, very important. So make sure you cross-check the data table for the pie chart. And for the pie chart, make sure the percentage is rounded up to 100%. If not, the data is not correct. Is that okay? I will see you guys on the next section. Tomorrow, you guys have technology track. If you enjoyed the section, go ahead to give a thumbs up or a clap or whatever before leaving the section. Thank you very much for attending this section. I will see you guys very soon. Bye, Salome. Bye, Claire. Bye, Kamsi Ochukwu. Thank you, Mr. Lota. Bye, Amanda. Bye, Ikechukwu. Bye, Jen. Jen said, I enjoyed it. Really, that's great. Bye, Nicholas. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, Bamise and Rowena, you're at BBC.